think that's enough of that. I'm sorry you had to see that. That was me getting on for 30 years ago. I think 97, maybe 98. Playing in school, right? A lot of us get our start that way. But look, this video is not about that. It's about that pedal that's on the floor. This is that pedal. Well, technically it's not that actual very pedal. That is long gone. But this is what's on the floor. It's a Zoom 505 guitar effects processor. And I thought it would be interesting to revisit this like nearly 30 years later and just check out some of the sounds of it. This was the first pedal I ever owned, and I used it a lot for everything. And I have really good memories of it, but when I look back at some of the footage, God, it didn't sound great. So I thought, let's check it out in a video, right? I picked this up really cheap on eBay, about 25 quid. I thought 25 quid's worth it just for the nostalgia of owning this again. So look, what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to plug it in. I'm going to go through the different presets. I've not plugged it in really at all other than to make sure it was reset and we had the factory presets, because that's what I want to show you. I'm just going to kind of react to some of those presets and see what they're like. See if they stack up to kind of a modern day effects unit. So just in case you don't know what this actually is, it's the equivalent of something like, I don't know, maybe the HX Stomp I think is probably the closest thing in kind of modern day multi-effects. But these were like, all the companies were making these kind of pedals. You had Digitech making the RP series. You got these from Zoom. I don't really know what Boss were doing at the time, but these were just like a really inexpensive, for the 90s at least, way of getting into effects. And I don't think I really understood it at the time, because I thought it just sort of did one or two effects on each kind of bank. But actually it is very much like, a modern day multi-effects processor where you have patches and you can, set up different effects for different banks and different patches. So you can scroll through and have all sorts of different predefined sounds. At the time, I don't think I had a clue how to edit this, and I'm not going to try and learn that right now. So I kind of just used the built-in sounds, and I'm not sure I had great results from that. I mean, I'll look back fondly on this thing, right? But I definitely don't think it sounded great, and I definitely didn't make the best of it. Maybe I'm being unfair to the unit itself. It's probably way more a case of user error than the actual pedal itself. What you tend to find with these pedals, especially the older ones from the 90s, is that they're set up with like a bunch of effects on to kind of really show what the pedal can do, rather than necessarily making some usable patches. I mean, maybe I'm, doing it a disservice. Let's plug it in, listen to the sounds and see what we think. All I'm going to do is kind of run through the patches and kind of react to them, just give you my genuine sort of thoughts on each patch. If you want to see me do a deeper dive into this and maybe create some of my own patches, see if we can get some actual usable tones out of it, let me know in the comments, like the video, and while we're at it, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to see that, let me know, we'll make a follow-up video. Did I mention I have the box? He has the box.
And I do have the box.
He has the box.
And the manual. One thing about this manual is it really reeks not just of loft, but also of 90s manuals. If you're old like me and you lived in the 90s, this is the sort of thing you had to deal with as a manual. Look at the state of it. We've got a patch list there. I don't know if you can see it. I'm kind of laughing at myself with the first one, which is Super Distortion Solo. That's basically the distortion patch I use for everything. So you can imagine how good I sounded as a teenager. Right then, let's get this plugged in and let's listen to some of those sounds. Right, well, it does have a tuner on it. So when you're in bypass mode, you have got the tuner. Let me just... Close enough. It sounds alright. That's the Tonex giving us the amp sound. So nice Pretty clean JCM 800 sound. And it's completely dry, there's no other effects on it or anything like that. So to turn this on, you've got to press both the foot switches together, and then you'll get the first preset. Brace yourself. Now remember, that's the distortion sound I used for everything. So there's a... from that first video, right? That was this. I don't think I realised quite how much reverb was on this patch when I was a teenager. There's a lot on it. But then I suppose it is meant to be a lead patch, so... Anyway, enough of that. Let's go to A2. Completely different. Immediately makes me think of, what's that Guns N' Roses song? Paradise City? Take Me Down to Paradise City? I don't know that riff, so I'm not going to try and play it. It's like a chorus with delay by the sounds of it. In fact, we can check, can't we? Well, we can kind of check. It tells me that there's modulation and delay and compression and all sorts, but yeah. Not terrible, perhaps a little bit over the top with the wet effects, but you get the point. Let's move on. Ah, harmonizer. Now I have no idea how to use harmonizers, but... that tracks pretty well. And I'm not sensing like a load of latency either. I'm quite impressed actually. Anyway, moving on. I don't know if this is meant to be like a kind of metal type sound. Sounds really scooped though, right? I can't play metal. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. I think we're into B now. Bank B. Now, if this didn't have quite as much reverb on it... I mean, that's reverb for days. I actually don't mind this distortion sound. Well, I think it's more like an overdrive, right? It's slightly more subtle than some of the other ones on here, but that reverb just makes it sound ridiculous. I mean, these pickups are quite hot on this guitar, so it's probably not helping. Let's back it off a bit. I'm actually quite surprised at how well that reacts to your kind of changing of pick attack. Not terrible, right? Too much reverb still, but not terrible. Right then, B2. Turn the volume back up. Sounds like a phaser or a flanger and just a whole shitload of distortion again. You would think these were made in the 80s. I'm pretty sure they came out in the 90s, but with all these presets in here, you would definitely think they were made in the 80s. I was trying to figure out there if it was reacting to pick attack, but I don't think it was. Anyway, that's enough of that one. Let's move on, B3. They seem to do this thing where they've got one really distorted patch, then one really clean patch right next to each other. I don't know if that's the idea of that is that you can, switch between the two quite easily if you want a clean sound and then a distorted sound. Sounds like we've got more phaser on this. Delay and some reverb as well. Like I said, all of these patches seem to just really overdo it and put on a load of stuff that you just wouldn't really use like this. They're trying to show off what the unit can do, I suppose. Moving on. Last one from Bank B. It's got like a auto filter on it or something. And again, a whole load of delay and reverb. I don't know what you'd use that one for at all. Right, we're on Bank C now. There you go again with a shitload of distortion, right? This one's really dry though. It's got no reverb on. Or, well, the light is on, so maybe it's got a touch of reverb, but it's way less echoey than some of the other settings on the pedal. Again, maybe I'm using the wrong guitar for this. Whoops. It's a very high output pickup in this guitar, so it does sound particularly saturated. But again, it actually cleans up pretty well. When you don't switch to a full volume pickup. Perhaps a bit muddy and a bit too much on that neck pickup, but on the bridge. Anyway, moving on, C2. quite like that one. It's got a fairly subtle chorus on it compared to some of the other patches at least. I don't think you can call this pedal subtle. It's got a really, really big reverb on it. Yeah, don't hate that one. Onwards. C3. That's definitely got like a slap back delay on it. Sounds really roomy. And god awful, to be honest. It's another one of those kind of quite scooped sounds, right? Enough of that one. C4. We've got some phaser going on. Loads of delay and reverb. Probably a bit over the top, but hey, let's move on. D1. Again, more distortion. Like I say, it's definitely going kind of clean, distortion, clean, distortion. I get why they've done that. Phaser, flanger type thing going. Quite a lot of reverb. Something like that. Yep, moving on. D2. Immediately getting my funk on. Well, that, you know, clearly an auto wah. Weird kind of like delay reverb on that. Just makes it sound really thin. Anyway, I don't like auto wahs. Moving on. D3. I remember this one. That's like a step filter, and I mean, this got a load of distortion on, but I immediately think of that Red Hot Chili Peppers song, Throw Away Your Television, where John Frusciante manages to use like the effect that I didn't think anyone would be able to use in a song ever, to great effect in that song. And it's that kind of, I think it's a step filter, right? But it's that kind of thing. It's definitely like an effect you don't hear in a lot of units. It's definitely in the Helix range, but yeah, quite cool. Totally unusable for most people. Somehow John Frusciante managed to find a use for it. D4. It's just like a really, really big reverb and delay. Don't know what that chord was. Yeah, excuse my sloppy playing. Anyway, we're getting there. Oh, I thought that had skipped E then and gone straight to F, but I just can't quite see the E from here. So E1, we're nearly there. We've got, what, 8 more banks to go? 8 more patches to go. What is that? I mean, what were they thinking with that? I mean, I don't know about you, but I can barely make out like any, different strings or notes or anything. Anyway, E2 now. A bit of octave. I love an octave pedal. You would have thought they'd put some fuzz on that though. That's a classic sound, right? Octave with a massive fuzz on it as well, but hey. Tracking's pretty good as well. Not a huge amount of latency. I don't imagine it's polyphonic though, so yeah, definitely not, is it? That's cool, I like that one. That's really usable, I think. E3. Gonna guess it's a distortion. Oh, well, here's your octave and distortion one. And, reverb and delay and everything else. Oof. We're not cutting anything. We're putting all the crappy mistakes in as well. I say that, I probably cut loads of stuff out already. I mean, it sounds pretty bad, but it's fun because of that octave. Anyway, I'll end up playing it all day if I don't move on. E4. I don't really know what to make of that one. Sounds alright, I suppose. Right, we're on to the last bank of patches now. So F1, a distortion patch. Again, too saturated for me, but it's got like a slap back on it or something again. Or maybe a bit of room reverb. I mean, it's not the worst one I've heard on here, but it's not particularly inspiring either. F2. Oh, we've actually got a distortion one again, but that sounds awful. Maybe with a bit of kind of EQ tweaking on that could sound alright, but... I mean, I've already said it, but one thing I'm really quite surprised by is how well it cleans up on some of these overdrive and distortion sounds. I didn't expect that. Right, F3, here we go. Something weird about that one. I don't know what's going on with the EQ. Probably the most boring patch we've come across so far. Last one. Ah! This is the acoustic simulator. I forgot about this. And now here's Wonderwall. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I mean, I've always hated acoustic simulators. And this one sounds particularly crap, but hey, it's in there. What's a good acoustic song? Well, that was it. I'll hand over back to, not headphone Jason. Well, that was really a trip down memory lane for me. This thing just brings back so many memories. I'm not sure it's something I would use in modern day. And frankly, I'm surprised these things survive. They're all plastic. They're all, fairly cheap feeling. But hey, 90s electronics. Maybe they hold up a little bit better than modern electronics. I don't know. But yeah, look, this was a bit of fun for me, bit of nostalgia. Let me know what you think about this pedal in the comments. Let me know if you want me to do a deep dive and maybe try and make some of my own patches. God, I'd have to figure out that manual again. Ugh. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Well, thanks for making it all the way to the end. I do hope you enjoyed that video. Just a bit of fun, a bit of a trip down memory lane. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to check out some more of my videos, I'll link a couple over here. But yeah, thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.